with these challenges in your life, therapy is wonderful. So I'm in therapy, and yesterday, he pretty much asked me two questions. Um, like what are my strengths, and what do other people appreciate me for? And I could not answer those two questions. I think I wrote, um, I'm a good deep thinker, listener. I observe like a lot of things, everything like to the core. But other than that, I had no idea what my strengths are. And talking to my therapist and asked my brother and my husband like what they appreciate me for, and asked my husband what he thinks my strengths are. It just really opened up my eyes, and it's like, wow, you look at these as strengths and something that I'm good at. Like, it was just really mind blowing, and hearing like the detail behind it. But going through that, like hearing that, it's just like, wow, I'm really overlooking. I'm really diluting myself and my talents and my strengths. I'm not always aware, and I'm not, patting myself on the back and cheering myself on like you are wonderful. And that brings me back to the book that I'm currently reading, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. Can't remember who it's by. I'm not sure where I put the book. um, but I'm reading that book because I'm currently in um, in a state of where I'm doing my best to change my mind. And so that reminded me of the book, and just how our thoughts literally control everything. Literally, like how our reality is, what it looks like, what we're going through. It all started with the thoughts that we have in our mind. And it's just really kind of like mind blowing, like putting all these things together. And it's just like, wow. Like, and then also on top of that, there's a lot of people that are challenged and struggled with these things as well. And so I was just curious, like, who else struggles with appreciating themselves, that struggle with acknowledging your strengths, that you know you're always thinking negative or worst case scenario first. Excuse me. And never thinking positively first. That's one of the goals of mine this year, is to change my thoughts, change my whole mind, change just everything. And I want to think more positively, more more life harmonious thoughts first, instead of jumping to the negative and worst case scenarios. Uh, and I was just so mind blown. Like, everybody is not in the same place at the same time. Um, just because somebody is way older than just because somebody is way older than me, and I'm 25. Just because somebody's way older than me does not mean that they have went through the learning lessons, or um how can I word this, or like have had a mental change just because they're older. Like, a lot of people and family members around me, they're just like, oh, I've been there before. Oh, I've been here longer on this earth than you, so I know more than you. Like, no, no, that's really stupid. Like, just because you're 48 and I'm 25, that means that you know more than I do? Probably not. I would definitely challenge somebody on that. But just because somebody's way older or way younger than you doesn't mean that they know more or less than you do. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't live just because how you live your life, how you operate in your mind does not mean the next person operates in the same way. They may operate and go throughout their lives completely different. And it was just really eye opening for me yesterday. Like, okay, I am a person and I have not known my strengths, acknowledged my strengths, um, give myself a little party, like yeah, my strengths are this, and I'm good at doing these things. We don't we don't we don't appreciate ourselves. Yeah, but just realizing that it's like, man, who else don't know what their strengths are? Who else just go throughout life and just think like they're not talented, they're not good at anything, they don't have any strengths or skills that, you know, what's the word, that you stand out um more than others in this category kind of thing. I'm like, who else go through that or are going through that? Because I just realized that, excuse me, within the past 2 days, like I am really good at this stuff and I don't acknowledge it or appreciate myself for it. Excuse me. And that's just going back to taking inventory of myself and the people around me and really wanting to change my mind, really wanting to be different moving forward. Um, don't know the exact um, Bible verse in scripture, but as a man thinketh, so he is. I know. And it's just like, what thoughts are you putting into your mind about yourself, about life, the world around you, other people? Like, what are you thinking? And that also brings me back to my book. What are the seeds that you are planting in your garden, right? So I've been learning about the conscious and subconscious mind, and think of your entire mind as the conscious mind. Think of the thoughts that go through your head when you're awake. And think of your entire mind as a garden. So, like the grass, all of the flowers, all the trees, all the fruits and vegetables in it. And think of the soil as your subconscious mind. And the seeds that go into the soil are your thoughts. The seeds are your thoughts going into that dark place. And whatever the soil, aka your subconscious mind, plants or grows from that thought, from that seed that you plant, that is what your garden looks like. So what seeds are you planting in your garden? Honestly, mine looks half of daggone probably Bowser Kingdom and half like Powerpuff Girl Hello Kitty Land. Because I have a lot of mixed thoughts and I have a good bit of negative thoughts. And like I said, that's something that I want to change this year moving forward, is really changing the way that I look at myself, think about myself, the way that I look at the world around me, how I look at others. I really want it to be a positive, loving, harmonious thing instead of thinking so down and negative first. And it it literally all starts in our mind. Like, what seeds are you planting in your mind? Literally, what thoughts are you having when you are awake? And something that I've also taken note of is really being cautious of my thoughts or conscious of my thoughts when I'm awake, and did some writing down of my thoughts while I'm awake. And I'm like, I'm really thinking this? Like, what made me think that? Where did this thought come from? And we're not aware of things if we don't acknowledge them and write them down, in my opinion. Our brains are always thinking. How many thoughts? I can't recall, but I know it's a ish ton of thoughts a day that our minds think. And just think, what if like 95% of your thoughts are negative and you only have a 5% positive thought process going on in your mind, and that's every single day. What are the thoughts that you're thinking when you go to sleep? Our subconscious mind is always on, never turns off, but it's most powerful when we're in a drowsy state and about to go to sleep. And what are those last thoughts that you have in your mind before you go to sleep? And what things are you playing when you go to sleep? What's on your mind when you go to sleep? What's the first thing that you think of when you wake up? Because we're still in that little drowsy state when we are first waking up. And it's powerful, man. I guess I might just really document me putting forth work and changing my mindset. I really want to connect with others and like get some feedback, because I honestly am looking to create something for myself that would help me take the next steps into changing my mind, changing my thought process, um, as well as getting into the Bible on a daily basis, getting closer to God on a daily basis, because we can do all things with the power of God with us. Quite literally. If we, depend on God and His word and His teachings and apply the work on the back end, you can do anything. And so it's like, why not? You know what I mean? I'm really tired of living in a like poverty scarcity kind of mindset. Yes, love. Yes. Um, I'm really tired of it. And I'm really desiring to change my life in a lot of different ways and aspects. I'm on another weight loss journey after having 3 babies. That's exciting. That's fun. um, but I have a lot of desires and goals for myself, and I told myself this year that I want to take all the opportunities. I don't want to be stuck in my head and my thoughts anymore. I don't want to think negatively first. And I really want to change my life for the better for myself and my family. You know what I mean? So, going back to it, I'll probably make a series like, what seeds are you planting in your garden? What seeds are you planting in your garden? Like, what's going on in your garden? What is going on? I'm constantly talking back or rethinking thoughts and doing my best to not give in to all the negative thoughts, not to give into, all of the, just all of that ish, just all of that ish. Doing my best not to give into it and to change it to a positive outlook one. Um, and I was just so mind blown. Like, I really want to know who else. What are your challenges when it comes to your mindset? What challenges do you what challenges do you come across with a negative mindset? Where do you want to be mentally? Um, like, what are your goals and your desires and stuff like that? Like, I'm desiring to have a 100% positive mindset, to have a strong mental state, and be in my word, be closer to God. Um, and I really want to help others with this as well, because I know I am challenged with it, and I'm just now realizing that not realizing, but I would say I'm actually putting in work to make a difference now. I know I've been challenged with it for a while. I've come up with a whole lot of answers and things that I'm seeking for, as to why my mentality is like this. Um, but I'm really curious. I really want to connect with others, um, and see if I could be any kind of help or service, not only to myself but to you too. Um, but yeah, I think that was all on my mind, and really the big the big I guess key point is, where are the seeds that you are sowing into your garden? Where are the seeds that you are planting in your garden? What does your garden look like? What do you want your garden to look like? Um, and just remember that everybody isn't at the same place. Everybody hasn't been where you are or where you're going. Um, and what are your strengths? What do you on your daily weekly basis? What do you do best? What do people appreciate you for, thank you for? What do people say that you're best at and nobody else around can do it better than you? Those you need to look at as your strengths. Those you need to put yourself on that pedestal in that category, and really appreciate yourself for that. And something I heard in my head yesterday was, combining your skills and your strengths um, probably really make a difference for yourself. There was just a thought in my head. I had to say it. But yeah, that was it. Um, I guess I'll probably make a lot more. Make a series of, what thoughts are you planting in your garden? And thank you for chiming in on my TED Talk.